house, Sparks!
All right! Oh my gosh, it's so nice. How are you? Thank you. I think that's wise. Space yourself out. I'm not going anywhere near that microphone. That's disgusting. Share a microphone with somebody. Why don't we? This is like going to a glory hole and using the same hole as someone else. I'm not gonna. Is someone gonna mop this thing down? Do you think in a couple of years we'll all still have like that momentary hitch where you're still behaving like there's like COVID is still a thing or whatever? Like I forgot I wasn't in a pandemic for just 1 second. I don't even know. I'm looking forward to all the the shows after this, looking for the next one. Because there's so much money to be made, and us being scared of them. We are a corralled audience, folks. If I was the people at Netflix, I would get my own CRISPR-Cas9 and start splicing together monkey genes and make them next disease or whatever. Like that's got to be Netflix's business model, right? It's like, how do we make smallpox just slightly itch and scary? I'm just sad the crocodile hunter isn't around for to like chase down the future diseases.
Right here, I've got, I think it's a little tiny MERS. You can see right here, this little MERS fella. He's from the Middle East. He's a little more dangerous than this one. You don't want to lick this fella. You don't want to do it. Look at that right there. He's fantastic. A little scary fella. Look at that. He's got a spike protein. He's a good one. He's a good one. He's a good one. That's fantastic. This is the kind of guy you want as a pet.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I work for a living. That joke is easier to do when you don't have Conan hair. Hi. Yeah, it is fabulous. It's true. Fucking. It started out as a slight dare at the beginning of COVID, and now I got committed to growing my hair out. You know what I mean? Like it got, like kind of longish, where I could have done like a dinner theater version of the sad story behind the monkeys somewhere around last August. But
and then I saw her face.
And I couldn't believe anymore. Sad and music and alcoholism. Anyways. But at a certain point, I was like, I just committed to growing it long. Not just because it looks fantastic, but because let's say the pandemic doesn't end and I've got to walk the earth in an apocalyptic world. This is the do you want. You know what I mean? I need a giant wooden cane, preferably made out of like a petrified bull's dick or something with an eyeball on it, and a long coat, tattered, preferably, something out of a Cinderella video from 1987, and I could just kind of roam the earth, Book of Eli style, You want any fuel? You talk to me. That kind of thing. And it could have, there could be another one right away. So I'm just keeping it. You know what I mean? Just to be safe. You know what I mean? I don't want to start that shit all over again. I did run into somebody today. I was driving and I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And he goes, "You can't complain." And I was like, "Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. You can. Everybody can. I mean, especially after the shit we've been through. Everybody can complain. You could definitely complain. And as a matter of fact, sir, I believe in you." I'm going to guess that just below the surface of anyone who says, I can't complain, is a lot of fucking complaints. Anybody who goes, I can't complain, is like a tinderbox. They are a bomb. They're a minefield of complaints. Because if you don't, why bring up complaining at all, right? If you can't complain, then why would you even insinuate that there's something to complain about by saying, I can't complain, unless you let me. It's not that you can't complain, it's that you may not. Stop. Yeah, we all have the same complaints right now. We're all confused. We're all adrift on a social island. We're just now getting ready. Like all of us are like a character in Grease that just got a makeover. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm not sure about this outfit, but I've got to interact with humans or I'll never get laid. And we're just venturing out into the world again like some sort of middle school teenager. Like, I feel judged, and yet... I have to say, I have not enjoyed the solitude like everybody else does. Everybody else is this closet introvert bullshit. Everybody's going like, oh, just, you know what? I didn't realize. I like working from home, and I like, and I just, if I could just binge watch for a job, that would be fucking great. I'm like, what kind of fucking ISO chamber AR asshole are you? Why? I like human beings. I like interacting with them. I don't like all of them. But even the ones I don't like are a lot of fun because they at least give you a fucking story. That's what I love about it. I look for shitty people in situations where I know I can escape. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not like, this is a nice alley. Wonder what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't... just rooting through there. Fucking bitch. If I could just get him. Where's the goddamn knife? Like, that guy I'm leaving alone. You know? But if he's at a party singing those lyrics into something, and you're like, aren't you supposed to be doing a Three Doors Down song or something, right? Fucking bitch. That guy I need to talk to. What's up? You okay? Well, I can't complain. Everybody's learned to talk to each other again. Do we mention it? You know what I mean? Is it the elephant in the room that's coughing and on a ventilator, or do we just leave it like, anyways, where were we a year and a half ago? Do you remember? I don't remember. What were we mad about? Kardashians or some shit? Aren't they gone? Yeah, everybody's got to learn to talk again, like broaching a conversation. And you don't, I mean, do you want to bring it up? Like, I feel bad because right now, you know, the mask mandate is back in temporary unless you're eating, which, of course, nobody spits when they eat, so that's fine. It makes a lot of sense. No, nobody has wet particles of spittle fly out of their face when they're eating and talking. Why would that? Anyways, seems the perfect situation to not wear your mask. I think we need feed bags. I think that's the only safe way to do it. Just ever get a fucking mask. Like with a shop vac attached at all times. Middle of last year, I was this close to walking around with a fucking snorkel on all the time. Like, I don't trust you at all. And the mask mandate ending just when we got our fucking mask game together. Everybody, we got it down. Yeah, you know what I mean? In the beginning, nobody knew how to fucking do a mask. You're like, I don't know what to do. Everybody was like stapling diapers to their faces or, you know, duct taping a sanitary napkin to their face. They'd bought them, kicking in the ladies' room. Can I just take one of these? Has anybody got 2 quarters? You know, it does have wings. They help. I fold it down under my nose and the other one under my chin. It fits. The panty liners ones are great because you just pull the sticker off and they just like that or whatever. It's great. Just doing everything you can. Now everybody's got their coordinated one, you know. Like I can monochromatically plan my outfit, you know. I've got a formal mask, and then I got a party mask, and one with my favorite show on it, my favorite band. I have a mask that's like anti-mask. I'm that kind of person. On it. I'm on it. Tried to find a mask that had a ventilator thing on the front of it, you know, like just like somebody just yanked the tube out and I could just wander around going, help me. It's gonna be some fucked up Halloween costumes this year. We have to, I mean, come on. We gotta laugh about this shit. It's fucking insane. It's like, if you don't laugh about it, you will go, I mean, it's that kind of awful. You know what I mean? But I got to give you, I mean, honest to God, I'm the guy who would have been giggling as the Titanic went down. Like, what do you want me to do? Die sad? The fucking boat's going down. The water is 60 degrees below zero. This is hilarious. There is no way I'm getting in one of those fucking boats. I can't fit in her dress. I don't have any kids. I'm not rich. I'm just, you know, some asshole handed me a cello. This is fucking great. Can you play yakety sax on a on a cello as you go. I would have. I fucking would have. What kind of an asshole plays a sad song when the boat's going down? What do you think? We need help being sad, you asshole? This is so sad, we're all drowning. Fuck that. Come on, guys. Circus music. Let's get it on. Who knows the theme to Dumbo? Come on. I think that, the slow roll, that made me decide that that the idea that you could die laughing, which has been a concept for many years, I need that to be a reality. I do. I need that to be a reality. I need either a really funny doctor who can give me the bad news, use puppets. I don't give a shit. Something funny. Just so get one big laugh out of the end of it. Even if my hope is that, God forbid, I ever get in a situation where I'm, conscious but clearly dying, and I have moments to live, and the boop boop is getting further and further apart and more thready, that the doctor would burst into the room, kick the door in, and go, "We found a cure!" Just fucking with you. No, sorry. I go, "Ah!" You know what I mean? That's beautiful. If I'm gonna die fucking anyways, please do that. Yeah. I want to be cremated, but I want to have a coffin buried anyways, but I want it to have a little like a small pneumatic machine, preferably runs on a solar panel that's powered through the dirt a couple blocks away, that just is. As the coffin's being lowered into the ground. One of those recordings just. I was kidding. They used to put. This is I love when people are like, "I don't trust the vaccines. I don't know what science is fucking talking about." They used to. You aren't the luckiest son of a bitch in the world to be alive right now with all the available science that we have, for Christ's sake. Because they used to tie a bell to your finger when they buried you. A little thread through a little hole in the ground, all the way down to your finger, tie a bell that was above the thing. So in case you woke up and you're like, "I'm not fucking dead. What the fuck did you guys do?" Ding, 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 ding. That's, if I was a kid during those times, shit. I'd take one of the bells off the cat and just head down to the cemetery for some fun. Just. Weird old crotchety cemetery worker come, "Oh, God damn it. I heard it again. How long has Tom been buried?"
4 days.
4 days. No one can survive 4 days. You can't be alive. You must be a demon. Get a shovel and a stake. 6 years later, the guys are arrested for desecrating the graves of 7 people. I heard the bells. I heard the bells. I'm not, honest to God, I'm not afraid of death at all. I really am not. I'm just afraid of all the shit that leads up to it. That's why I don't believe in phobias. Can I just for the record, we've been using, No, she can say it. She's got a story to tell. She was there when it happened. I hear the bells. Right. Check. Yeah? Yeah, exactly. Be happy. That's what I'm in the process of doing. Thank you. Thanks very much. I'm glad it's settling in. I'm glad it works. That's exactly the goal. Thank you. They built an entire venue around that concept. And people come here nightly for that very thing. Thank you, love. And I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad you're happy. And I'm glad you're alive. And I'm glad you made it and keep making it. That's the important thing. Yeah, absolutely. Well, she and I are the same age. And so we've been through in our lives about, same these many, many decades. We've seen a lot of change. And a lot of things stay the same over time. But I do have to say, like, as we kind of come out of this, well, I don't know that anybody's got the appetite for being touchy anymore. You know what I mean? Because we were getting really touchy right up to that. Like we were maxing out the touchy meter, which in and of itself, like touchy, even that word grosses me out. Like that you talk about words that trigger people. Touchy sounds like fondly. You know what I mean? Like guy's very touchy. What do you mean? He gets insulted easily? No. I mean he'll fucking grab you. He'll touch you. I had a real problem for a long time with the word problematic. People are like, oh, that's very problematic. About really serious things. Like problematic to me is like, when you're at the gas station and you just put it in and it clicks right off. That's problematic. Like, fuck, how do I gas my car? Like, yeah, the car it rejects it the more empty it is. You know what I mean? You're on zero, and that's when like, I'm full. You know what I mean? Like, suddenly, when your car just becomes like a 9-year-old who you're trying to like, will you fucking eat something? I'm full. You just sniffed your meal. I'm full. That's what happens. It just, God damn it. Like, it's empty. It is so fucking empty. I was sweating rolling in here. I was like, I got 30 miles. Maybe. I've never really tested this. Maybe it's 15 miles. Shit, I was coming uphill most of this way. I don't know if that might be an extra 8 miles. I don't know how. I'm very nervous. You roll in there like, I came in on fumes. That's going to be the story. Like, I rode in on fumes. That's what you tell everybody. Skin of my teeth and on fumes. Farted in the tank just to make it the extra 6 blocks. That's how much on fumes I was. And then you take out the thing and you pay the card, and it doesn't know, like, I want to hold on to your card. And no, you can take your card. No, I want to hold on to it. Why do you want to hold on to it? Every other store just lets it go in and out. It's like, no, fuck you. I'm already nervous, and I get my fucking thing out. What does my car use again? Is it Plus, Premium, Super Plus, Jet Fuel, Diesel? Why is the Diesel sitting there going, I wish a truck would come by? I need some hippie with a Mercedes to come over here. He's run out of fry juice. Come on. I'm green. Even though diesel is the least green kind of fuel you could ever see. They always make the handle green. Like it's like got, it's fresh. This is fresh diesel. Not that old shitty diesel from 1975. Isn't that when they made diesel? And that like all the diesel in the world was made in 1976, That's problematic to me. That's something in life that is problematic, not racism. That's kind of big. You know what I mean? Like, and when you use a tiny little, word like that for something that's big, it's kind of honestly problematic. Actually, the word itself doesn't even sound bad. It sounds like a machine from the 50s that makes problems. You know what I mean? Don't have enough problems in your life? Mark, try the new Ronco. Problematic. That's right. Just take a couple of quarters, pop them in there, turn the dial a couple of times, and Grandma will say something really uncomfortable at the dining room table. Problematic is a thing. Or a game. Problematic sounds like a board game from the 80s. Right? You know what I mean? They're problematic. Oh, shit, Problematic is a game for the family fun. If there was a game called Problematic, it would definitely have one of those dice tits in the middle of it. You know what I mean? Like that thing. I fucking love that thing. Like, oh God, I love that thing. Like my favorite board game thing in the world was that little thing, the roll the dice, and what a genius invention. You know what I mean? So yeah, somebody thought that shit up. That solved a problem. All right, everybody. gather around. We got a meeting of the board game industry, and one of the problems we're having is any big problems, any new business. Okay, we've got a current issue that we have in a lot of these areas where all of our games are largely based on dice, and occasionally you get a rambunctious 8-year-old or a drunk father, and they'll go to roll those dice, and one of them will bounce off the fucking table and whack somebody in the eye, and then fall into the thing and go down to one of the grates, and they'll be scrambling for it. Families are broken up. We've had murders, suicides. It's terrible. We need to find a solution. And somebody's like, I have a great idea. Let's take the dice and put them into a hermetically sealed thing with a wobbly piece of tin under it, and then if you push on it, it'll randomize the roll, and they never can escape. It's genius, and now problematic. Has the dice boob in there, which is great. I love that thing so much. It's arguably problematic. I would just rub it and... You know what game really needs that? Operation. Operation needs that. So you could just go like, live, you motherfucker. Just live. He's dying. Problematic as a kid. Too many phobias, too. Like... We were stacking phobias right before this all showed up. Everything was a goddamn phobia. Homophobia, transphobia, xenophobia, like all these fucking phobias. And I don't believe in any of them, for the record. None of them. I don't believe, and not just the ones that we've made up. I mean the ones that are supposed to be real. I don't believe in any phobias at all. Like, I'll give you an example. Like homophobia. I don't believe homophobia exists. I don't think homophobia exists. I mean, I know there are bigots. I don't think they're scared, though. I think they're just assholes. You know what I mean? It's not... They're not jumping on a fucking chair when a gay person walks by like it's a goddamn spider. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They're not like, oh my gosh, gay person, someone get a shoe. Like, nobody... They're just bigots. You can fuck them. Right? And for the record, if it was a phobia... A real phobia. If it was a phobia, you're saying this exists. Understand what you're saying here. If you're saying homophobia is a phobia, then it's a mental disorder. And if you're hating on someone for having a mental disease, what kind of fucking monster are you? They need help and treatment and probably a pill that also makes their hair grow on their legs double long and makes them shart or something. I don't know. Like, they all have side effects. But I don't believe in any of them. Like homophobia, like xenophobia, which of course is fear of warrior princesses. That, that makes sense though. Honest to God, I mean, yeah, sure she's sexy, but goddamn she's big, and you just want to like hang on her bustier, and she can hit you with her shield, and she just choke you out like that. And I'm not into that thing. I'm not here to yuck your yum, but I just don't. That's not my thing. Transphobia, everybody, got a lot of news about transphobia in the last little bit, of course. And of course, if you don't know what transphobia, that's a fear of cars that turns into a fear of robots. And those people are easy to fuck with. You just walk through a parking lot and go, don't get hurt. And they're like... Transphobia, thank you. Transphobia actually got in the news a lot because of the South Carolina bathroom bill, right? That was probably the biggest news spike on that one. And the idea was that the people of South Carolina were transphobic because they were afraid, that they weren't letting trans people go into their preferred bathroom, or the one that was proper to their sexual identity, whatever the proper term. It's a moving floor of how you discuss it, so as to not offend anyone. I will avoid the conversation, fit it into your brain however you puzzle piece odd ideas into your head without assistance from me. But the idea was that they were being transphobic because they, didn't want to allow this. But it seemed to me, if you listen to them, they weren't really dealing with trans people at all. They weren't even concerned about trans people. What they seemed to be afraid of was that straight guys would take advantage of gray areas in the law, put on a dress, sneak in the ladies' room, peek under the stalls, and jerk off in the sink. And that's a reasonable fear to have. I mean, that might be heterophobia, and it might be completely justified at this point. Weinstein, Cosby, Matt Lauer, you know what I mean? Like, how are you not scared of some of those fuckers? I'm straight, and I scare the shit out of myself sometimes, honestly. I think right now we're having testosterophobia. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta fucking how they're having testosterone replacement therapy is one of the things you see ads for if you're my age. And I don't think that's what men need at all. I don't think we need testosterone replacement therapy. I think we need testosterone displacement therapy, which is a box where I can put my balls so they won't bother me while I'm trying to get other shit done. You know what I mean? Like, as a man, your balls are always going, just go do that. She saw it. Just leave. Yeah, no, put down your project. Forget about your work. Just look at that. Look at her. Look at her. Follow her. Follow her. Follow her. Pick up a stick and follow her. Like this is drag her down. Wear an animal skin. Walk around. Grunt a lot. Grunt, grunt, grunt. You don't need a degree. You don't need a degree. Like your balls are always telling you shit like that. I wish there was a small box I could put them in. Like that, just put your balls in a box and go, yeah, as soon as I get my PhD, you guys go back on. I just got shit to do or whatever. I can't, you're screwing up the links on my browser. Testosterone displacement therapy. You laugh, but it'll be an available thing. And of course, she's gonna need more coffee. Definitely this. It's not just coffee. I should hope not. Obviously, I mean, is this your first threesome, or you guys was this a Craigslist thing, or? I mean, yeah. So, no. I mean, who doesn't forget their first 3 threesomes? You know what I mean? Like, it's the 5th one you really lock onto and go, I think I have game now. The question is, in that little exchange, who got TMI'd the most, you or me? Because that's, obviously, I made an abstract about you, but I think I just... Roll back the tape, erase that part. Just don't... Huh? Oh, you're definitely connected when you're having a threesome, absolutely. I'm somewhere between a human centipede and a human Lego. That's like what I am. It's not over till you hear it go click. That's that's the kind of connection you only get with mixing up lube and super glue. You know what I mean? Like that's we've all bonded. Yeah, we all have the gesture for sex, which we're all familiar with this one. Is the official one for a threesome this? Is that proper or whatever? And is this an alien invasion? And what they eat. All right. You guys are looking at me like I planned this show. Get out of here. We almost died last year. I'm not planning shit ever again. I'm adrift. This is the ice flow show. If I'm an Eskimo who was running from a snow bear and just ended up on a piece of ice, I'm like, fuck it, I'll just eat narwhal. I don't know where this thing is going. It's true. She and I are dating, and it's been awkward because this is her first show she's seen of mine or whatever, and she doesn't know which jokes to take personally, and it happens, you know what I mean? And I don't normally do relationship material, but I'm about to start, honey, because, you know what I mean? You said you could handle it, and I know you said, don't do the threesome jokes. I was like, all right. This is all right. I mean, for everybody but him. Like, honest to God, I feel like you're waiting to just serve me with papers or something. Like, it's like. You're Al Sparks, right? Yeah. You've been served. Enjoy. Thank you. It's a rude kind of statement to use. I know this is off track. What isn't? You've been served. They should at least give you a beverage. You know what I mean? I'm going to serve you with papers and a small chocolate. There you are. Just have 2 chocolates on a little tray. That's the one. You've been served. Thank you. Or at least they should have to dance, you know. You've been served. Oh, shit. I have, my My Face ID doesn't work anymore on my iPad because of my hair. And I get emails going, I think your sister's trying to open your shit. I will say, you know who has it easy right now in the world? HR departments. Because everybody's working from home. You can't sexually harass yourself. I mean, I guess you can. We get the occasional tubing where somebody, stands up without their pants on in the middle of a Zoom call. But it's not quite the whole excuse me, Carol, if you want to keep this job, you might. Can you turn off your mic? I'm hearing an echo. So hard to sexually harass someone when you don't have the loop feature turned off. But yeah, I'm glad. We were getting so close too. You know what I mean? We were starting to deal with some shit, and then this thing monkey wrenched its way in the whole thing. And sexual harassment. I'm glad we were having a conversation about it, but it's sexual harassment in and of itself is just so clinical and boring way of discussing something that's so personal. You know what I mean? Because sexual harassment, what we used to call that was lewd and lascivious behavior by skeevy men. You know what I mean? That's how the boss was being lewd and lascivious. Not, my goodness, that sounds like sexual harassment to me. Sounds so clinical and boring. Lewd and lascivious. Sounds like you can picture him. He's got a long mustache and you must pay the rent. You know what I mean? Like, well, if I can't pay the rent, you're gonna pay the rent, one way or another. Lewd and lascivious. Those are gooey words. You know what I mean? That sounds like there's cum involved. You know what I mean? Like, lewd. And then they call it sexual harassment. Sexual harassment sounds like something you could get a degree in, Good evening, I'm your sexual harassment supervisor. If you have any questions, you need help getting up on a ladder, I'm glad to help you. Good talk, Tim. And it breaks down very poorly. It really does. Stuff should stand up to scrutiny when you're talking about something that serious, right? Sexual harassment. First of all, it starts with sex, so you have my attention. Then it goes straight to y'all. Sex, y'all? Absolutely. Sex, y'all? It sounds like an invitation. Sex, y'all? Come on. Sex, y'all? Would you like some lemonade and some sex? Come on off the porch. It's time for sex, y'all. Then it goes right to harass, which is what got us in trouble in the first place, honestly. Leave the poor woman alone, Sexual harass, it's terrible. And then you get a mint afterwards. You shouldn't reward that kind of behavior. It's terrible. A big one, though, was after the January 6th thing, we had an insurrection. Domestic terrorism is our biggest fear right now. Domestic terrorism. Which just sounds like it's maids doing it, It does, where you're like, oh my God, it's a bunch of domestic terrorists. How can you tell? They have small vacuum cleaners and dust busters. You can't make something sound worse. Terrorism is terrible, wherever it comes from, right? You don't make something sound worse by using the same word you would attach to sell, cheese and beer. It's a nice domestic Chardonnay. It really is wonderful. It goes great with domestic terror. You know what kind of domestic terror? I like homegrown terrorism. It's wonderful. You know what I mean? Because it sounds like there's oats involved. You know what I mean? That's where you get homegrown terrorism. There's fiber and vitamin C, and it's got antioxidants in homegrown terrorism. Xylem husks. I think for it to be domestic, for it to be homegrown terrorists, there has to be xylem husk involved somehow. That's what they put in Metamucil. Don't take it. It scars up your intestinal walls. It's a mistake. Rewind that plate and erase that. That's medical advice. I shouldn't be giving that. Domestic terror, domestic IPAs, domestic cheese, and domestic help. I guess if you have domestic terrorism, you should get some domestic help, Don't worry, there's a bunch of guys out front with guns, but I've got a couple of people with vacuum cleaners to take care of the whole thing. They're a great crew. They're here twice a month. They will get rid of our domestic terror problem. I love, what did you get caught binging this time? I got caught stuck binging, true crime shows. You know what I mean? Because it's like a regular, crime drama, but it gave me the illusion that life was continuing outside of our confines. Like somewhere out there, life is continuing. Something's really, murder, but still. My favorite phrase on those shows was person of interest. They were, when they're looking for a person of interest. He's a person of interest in several crimes. Well, why don't you call him a suspect? Don't you suspect he's doing something? Yes, but legally, if we suspect someone, we have to get a warrant, do all kinds of other shit. Person of interest, we're just interested in. Just interesting. We just think he's interesting. We could just sit in the bushes near his house drinking coffee going, interesting. Well, what do you think he's been doing? Well, we think he's been kidnapping people, murdering them, and fucking them, but not necessarily in that order. He sounds interesting. Person of interest. I also like when people have, they always have a rap sheet. Everybody they got, they catch one of these assholes. They've always done a bunch of stuff. One of the biggest things, assault and battery, which is, I guess that's, batteries are included. You beat the shit out of someone and go, here's a 9-volt. But the weird phrase I always seen, it was aggravated assault. That was always the one that stuck out, to aggravated assault. Why the fuck would you assault someone if you weren't at least aggravated? You know what I mean? It would seem like you'd have to be slightly miffed to beat the shit out of someone. And why would you add that to the word to describe it? What happened? It was an aggravated assault. Well, of course he was aggravated. Why the fuck do you think he was beating the shit out of you? Tell us something we can use, It would be news if he wasn't aggravated. You know what I mean? It was like, what was it? It was like a disenchanted assault. You know what I mean? Like he was kicking the shit out of me, but he was miles away. He just wasn't into it. You could tell. He was like, did I leave the iron on? He was, I don't know. It's like a distracted assault. Even when they call it sexual assault, that sounds like they're trying to make it nicer. You know what I mean? Well, at least it was sexual. You know what I mean? Like, no. It was a rape, and it was terrible. I'm always, I don't understand power dynamics, because I'm in a job where, I, technically speaking, when it comes to sexual harassment, I would be on the receiving end. From behind. What? And then, oh, shit, But in all seriousness, I've never had a Coco moment from fame, but I've had in my career early on, I've had a couple of near misses with casting couch circumstances. When I was 16 in Chicago, I had a near miss in one of those situations. It's one of those things where you got a red flag, and I was raised right. My parents taught me to, run for the hills. You'll have another opportunity. Don't hang around if your radar's going off, as they say in the CIA, and you would know, sir. If there is any doubt, there is no doubt. You know what I mean? If something's suspicious, bug the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, guys, something's weird here. Out. Everybody back in the car. Let's get the fuck out. So I was in this, I went to a casting for a movie. Didn't get it. Spoiler alert. But it was at this guy's apartment. And, yeah, right. And I was like I'm riding the elevator going, this is an apartment building, and I'm with 4 other people, and they're like, we're going to be in movies. And I'm like, no, you're not. If you are, it's going to be the kind they use as evidence. Be threading the movie you're on, going, Your Honor, Exhibit C. I'm right. How did I not become A? Well, quite frankly. But I went in. And it was minor red flags along the way. Went in and the guy wasn't wearing pants. And I was like, you know what? I left something in the car I don't have. And I left and never went back. And my friends were like, that was the weirdest audition I was ever on. Like, did your jaw ever stop clicking? But I can understand, people trying to, there's some people who think they can kind of I could weather that, you know what I mean? Slept with worse people than that and never got anything out of it. Why not give it a shot? Maybe I'll turn the tables. Maybe I will sexually harass them. Oh yeah? You want me in your movie? You're gonna have to earn it. Just totally throw a monkey wrench into somebody's system when they're... So I think at some point, because things are, all things being equal, yeah, I mean, just tape it on your phone. But back in the day, unless like, I gotta move this asshole near an open window so maybe a neighbor sees what's going on, TMI, sorry. True story, though. It's a true story. And I bugged the fuck out, and and I lived to tell the tale. That said, oh, good Lord. No, I'm not doing that bit. That's a terrible idea. Can't follow up what I just said with that. What a nightmare. I do, by the way, give it up for your staff and the people working in the front and folks around there who do not have the option of, while you're in here, of taking their mask off. Right? That's the other thing. Remember, as much as you have a mask mandate when you have to go in some place and you can leave or whatever, those folks are stuck in there right now. They're dug in and they've got to wear their masks all the goddamn time. And it's for good reason. It's because you guys are fucking disgusting. Let's be completely honest. Many of us are going, you know what? I should have been wearing masks this whole time. If I'd have worn a mask during the 90s, that life would have been a lot easier. You know what I mean? Fewer mugshots, I suppose. But in all honesty, like the people that you're interacting with and stuff, I give people a wide berth to be agitated, crazy, because you never know how life wound somebody up, especially in the last year. I lost a bunch of people in the last year, to be completely frank. I lost 5 people into the great beyond. And I don't worry. As a man of faith, I know that they exist in some alternate plane. It's not that I don't have any friends that are atheists. When they die, they phase out. They get whatever you believe is actually right for you. So if you believe there's life after, you go to the great beyond and you live again, and you can reincarnate if you're Buddhist, and if you're a Christian, you just go to one heaven, and that's where you stay. And it just works out exactly how you think. So all atheists they end like a de-resed person on Tron. They just go. Yeah, that's what happens. I mean, it's true. That's how you die. Because everybody's right about their shit. Everybody's right. Everyone is welcome to their own unique mistake. And so when an atheist dies, there is nothing. And if at the last minute they go, wait, maybe I do, it doesn't count. Nope. You don't get to just jump in at the tail end, asshole. Sorry. Yeah. I'm going to need at least a story explaining in full prose why you now believe something exists beyond. And I don't want any bullshit about a light you saw. That's obviously chemicals firing in your brain as you pass away. All right. So I was watching a show about people who have after death experiences. Afterlife experiences. I mean, they came back to life. So midlife experiences in mid. I don't know what the fucking description is. You're not dead, so it's not afterlife. It's here you are. It's during life experience. That sounds like you went to Disneyland. That makes no sense. It's like I went shopping and then I saw a big light and there was something like angels and music or something. And I think it was just because I looked right in the sun as I came out of the store. Like, oh my God, it's bright. Like, you ever go to the movies in the afternoon and you walk outside and you're like, God damn, it's day. This is so wrong. It's the exact opposite of falling asleep and you wake up after the sun has gone down and you're like, is it 5 a.m. or 5 p.m.? I don't care. I'm in lockdown. No one matters. All right. As long as I'm up for my Zoom meeting, who gives a shit if it's day or night? But the argument has always been that, it's just chemicals firing in your brain to tell you that something's happening. You come back and whatever. And I'm like, okay, but I don't know why. Where is the evolutionary value in that happening? Like everything else, you can go, that's just beings, animals do that shit. It's just what part of that makes you more survivable? You know what I mean? And who gets laid on a... maybe a long time ago, that's how you got laid. Like, I almost died. Saw a big light. Turn you on? Actually, it quite does. But unfortunately, because we're a very small group here, we have to burn you as a witch. Because we don't really know how to deal with it. I do find it sexy that you died and came back. But and I'd love to hear the story, but we have to drown you. Sorry. It's so bad. Can we fuck first? At least. Maybe then our children will, even though we don't believe in evolution. That's why we're burning you at the stake. It's so confusing. I don't know quite where we are. But I don't know how that benefits you from an evolutionary standpoint, in a way that you would pass it on to your progeny, so that human beings, at this level, are at the point where we've had a bunch of, where that's a fairly regular thing, and the people that have, have the strength to come back, or get their battery jumped, And I've done CPR 3 times in my life on people, and I think I have more memories of it than the person that I did it on does. I know that for a fact. I mean, like I have flashbacks to this day of the look in their eyes, the smell of their breath, the whole deal. So there's a stranger. Imagine this is your CPR experience will more than likely, if it ever happens to you, and if you don't know CPR, goddamn learn it, because I don't want to have to do it again. I'm sick of being in a room full of functional human beings when somebody drops and going, oh, me again? Fine. All right. Fuck you, assholes. I can't fucking... Assholes. Nobody else knows. Yeah, then what? All right. But when you do, they're not gonna remember any of that shit. They're gonna like, I saw lights and angels. Yeah, really? I learned that you're a smoker. That's true. That's a true story. I was like, oh, he smokes. That's good. He lived. Fuck off. He lived. That's all that matters. I don't give a shit. Zero judgment. He fucking lived. But he's like, he was a Guatemalan grandfather dropped in LAX. And quite frankly, I think as a permanent 15-year-old boy, I have a vision of who I would love to give mouth-to-mouth to and save the life in terms of people. And it wouldn't be, no offense, a Guatemalan grandfather. It's just not my type. I'm just saying, I'm not, like I said, I'm not here to yuck your yum. I'm just speaking for myself. There's somebody for everybody, and that's why you should learn CPR. Done 2 tourniquets in my life. That's fun. I was the best one. It's nice when you have tourniquet stories and you've got a better one. The other one's like just your run-of-the-mill tourniquet story. You know what I mean? Belt, bite down on a stick while I twist it, yell your name, shit like that. But the first one was in Cub Scouts. We were clearing a trail, and my assistant scoutmaster, second rung asshole, somehow thought it would be, he was the only adult present who hadn't left to go get beer while children were in the woods. Decided that he was going to cut through the brush quicker by bringing out the chainsaw. We were just not moving fast enough. And bounced his chainsaw right off his shin. And one of those, the amazing thing about it was, he brought it right back out. Like, it was too late. It was fucking, it's a chainsaw. There is no like, oops, oh, wow, dodge that one. It was a fucking, gout, like that. Just that fast, but that's all it needed. Leg blobbity blobbity. And, yeah. So, I'm 10 years old. And he blacks out immediately because just... Two of the other Cub Scouts were on the other side of the log holding it, so they're getting like the world's most, like the American Horror Story money shot, just patow, just I don't want their memories of the situation. But I'd literally, since I'd done it less than a year before, when I was 9 at Boy Scout camp, I was like, let's do this shit. I had a tourniquet bar in my little kit. We were out there ready, just slam that shit in there. And I didn't even have to smack him and tell him to yell his name or something, because you got to make somebody who can get a name or they'll freak out. So you make them say, what's your name? And they go, Grr! And they go like that. And tighten the shit up or whatever. And then we realized there's 6 of us in the woods with a guy who's basically bleeding to death. And the other, like I said, my true scoutmaster and his brother, who was out there for some fucking reason, just being in the woods with boys, I think was his job. And they had gone to get beer with our dues money, And so I was like, we got to get him to the road. That we might not be able to get him any further, or none of us are tall enough to drive. But we definitely got it. So we made we got 2 sticks. We put them together, whatever. Took like one of the blankets we had. We made and 4 of us are like dragging this dickhead out down a little road path, and he's bouncing down and all this kind of stuff, and just leading a trail of blood. And all of us are like, I was at the age where I was still on my walk home in Kentucky from my buddy's house. My best friend's house was 1.5 miles away. So if I wanted to go watch TV, I had to go over there. We didn't have a TV till I was 15. And see, this is why I don't talk about my childhood. You guys can't fucking relate. You don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, none of this is like, oh, me too. No, none. There is nothing to my past that anybody goes, oh yeah, man, I did that. Nothing. Mom's a nurse, dad's an architect, grew up in teepees, wore buckskins most of my life, didn't have a TV till I was 15. See what I mean? Cleaned tobacco plants for a job, baled hay for 50 cents an hour. Nobody? All right. Anyways, see what I mean? You know what the fuck I'm talking about. So, thank you. So I would wrap this fucker up and we're, dragging. And I was still at the age where I would sing when I was walking home from my friend's house to scare away werewolves. You know that age? You know what I mean? Where you're just like, the one thing that will keep the werewolves at bay is if I just sing. You know what I mean? They can't attack you when you're singing. And it worked, apparently. I have never been attacked by a werewolf. Apparently, the big Journey fans, it's not true. More Steve Perry. I should have been gone. Knowing how I made you feel, and it should have been. Gone after all your words of steel. And thank you. Thanks very much. You ever had a song stuck in your head all day? You do now. It's just cruel. It's so cruel. And they're not even old enough to know the song. That's the best thing about that. I feel good in the fact that I've in my life, I've been through some shit. Been through some genuine shit. And I think one of the bonding things about us all going through this pandemic, and anybody else who's been through some shit will know what I'm talking about, is that you now have a shared been through some shit with a lot more people. Because there was a bunch of people tap dancing about shit that doesn't matter, or shit they can't control, or shit that's much bigger than their world scheme. And so they were bitching about stuff that's like, oh my God, can you believe that this is happening? And then there's like, if there were like, they're eating normal eggs like at a clip, and you're like, you can't do anything about it. I can't do anything about it. What the fuck is wrong with you? But when we've been through something like this, we all have a depression story to tell when we're fucking old. You know what I mean? We now, because we were a generation, my generation, slightly older than me, slightly younger than me, this is a group who were like, what the fuck am I going to tell my grandkids that I had so rough? You know what I mean? When I was a kid, our game controllers only had a stick and one button. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You're like, what the fuck? How am I going to motivate these little assholes? Right? You know what I mean? We had to, when you put a cassette in, you had to boot it up at the end. Because sometimes they'd get in the heat. If you didn't take your favorite cassette out of the dashboard, it would melt into it, and goodbye music, right? That doesn't match with our grandparents who were like, her mother built our house while I was at the war with her own hands, We didn't have an axe, so she chewed through the trees. Right? Like, how do I compete with that shit? I can't. Did you ever try to get a card in a ColecoVision where the little buttons are and you try to slide it in there and it's supposed to make the Smurf game have special moves and it just wouldn't go in and it would jam? But now we've all got something. We've got a pandemic we can talk about for decades. We can talk to little... Gather around. Sit down.
Sit on the hover cushions. Let me tell you. Let me tell you a story while your brain augmentation stem dumps algebra into your spine. When I was a young man, 700 years or so ago, when I hit 50, people only lived about 25 to 30 years more. Yeah. And then in that 30 years, they figured out how to make us live for hundreds of years. My body still looks 30, but your brain can only hang on for so long. I want to tell you kids a story about when I was a young man. Jimmy, turn your eyes back towards me. No, I can tell when the bionics roll back out of you're not paying attention. I'll slap the motherboard right out of you, you little droidlets. I just get to talk to you through these screens while your body hibernates in a goo. I'm getting a call. It's time for my Logan's Run. 700 years old, you hear the beep. And then you have to walk to the pit. No one knows what's on the other side. When I was young, oh goodness, we had a thing called dis-ease. Yeah. Something you kids wouldn't know anything about in your lives of ease. There was a dis-ease that would attack your insides. This was before we could see them. Remember, when I was young, skin was relatively opaque. Some Swedish people you could see straight through, but everyone else. Your skin hid everything inside. No one had abs. No one. 2 people on TV, but I think it was CGI. But we got this disease and it rolled through and none of us were expecting it. We thought our problems were going to come from someone in the government. I forget who he was, something like that. I just can't even picture him. It's been so long. It's just vaguely smell a kind of farty, weird Cheeto something. It's in my memory haze. All I know is it makes my dick turtle. Listen. Dick turtle, look it up. Take you about a millisecond, you Google hooked up fucker. Listen. We had a dis-ease that rolled through, took some friends from us, people that would never get a chance to live these long, extended lives, visit these other planets, have multiple near-death, midlife experience. We still haven't named that shit. I don't know why. We got to come up with it. You live 700 years old, you have like 5 of those now. But I had a friend who was hooked up to a machine, coughed his lung into a cup. They had to stuff it back down in him, as I said goodbye on FaceTime. So you check yourselves. Now float in there and tell your grandmother's dismembered head that's sitting in the gelatinous goo so they can grow her a new body. So Grandpa and she can have some fun. Go tell her you love her. 'Cause you never know when you'll get the chance. Thank God none of you can smell. I've been farting this whole time.
You guys are awesome. This was really fun. I think on a personal note, it was a it was a real joy to see Jay tonight. And the first time I was on the Tonight Show was with Jay, and the only time actually. But I got to make out with a doll of Jay Leno on the show because I was promoting Queer as Folk, and he asked me, "What's it like kissing a guy?" And I said, "How committed are you to finding the answer to that question?" That was a proud moment. My parents at that point, the show had just launched, and it was a big deal. It's not as big a deal now. Now it's by comparison. But back in the day, that was something that like, ooh, shit. And my parents, it came out the same weekend as Dude, Where's My Car? So they had a variety of things to look at. And I called my dad and my stepmom, and on Sunday, I'm like, "Hey, it's coming up this Sunday. Are you gonna check it out? You gonna watch it?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna watch it. We got Showtime. We're gonna sit down and watch it. We're very excited. We're very happy for you. You've been working so hard for the last few months. It's a big deal. The show's coming out and all that." So I call them. I watch the show. Call them after. "What'd you think?" "Well, you know what? We got back from the store too late, and we were gonna watch it and stuff, and we didn't want to get interrupted because it's really late here. It's it's a couple hours later and stuff. So we're gonna tell you what, we're gonna watch it tomorrow night when we can sit down and not have any interruptions." And so I called him the next night, and I'm like, "Did you watch it? What'd you think?" And my dad goes, we both of us. Carol was not well, so we didn't get a chance to. We didn't want to interrupt it again because we got back and there was traffic and that kind of stuff. So again, it got late and we were gonna Wednesday night. We don't have to be anywhere. We are going to sit down and watch it and all and whatever. So I called him up Wednesday and I said, "What'd you think?" My dad goes, "We are so proud of you for doing that show, and Carol and I both think it's just brave and important. It's a good show, and it's great that you're doing it." I'm like, "Did you watch it?" And he goes, "No, Friday." Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. By the way, I'm in a cover band called Nerd Halen. We'll be at the Echo August 1st. Just saying.